Hi, I'm Joy Lopez, and for my final project, I am focusing on my topic for my research paper, which was about mass incarceration and racism and how um, African Americans and Mexican Americans negatively get affected off of mass incarceration in the United States. I have three things for my multimedia. One is a poem that I made. It's a sonnet poem. Another one is flyer, and another one is what you see right now on the right side of the screen. This is an infographic, and it just talks about like the statistics of everything, just how many African Americans and Mexican Americans are sentenced in prison systems. Um, I'll talk about my infographic later. Right now, I want to focus on my first multimedia thing. It's my sonnet poem. Um, did 14 lines. I don't know if you can see, but it's off of here. Just gonna read it. It's about racism in the United States criminal justice system. Guilty as you're innocent, can't escape. Privileges are gone based on your race. Racism is clear in the prison systems. Black and Latino men are threats to cops. Racism has led to mass incarceration. The United States can't escape its past. Barely any freedom in the land of the free. The country has the highest rate of arrest. Other countries provide mental improvement. Population grew because of war on drugs. Black and Latino men are wrongly blamed. The term driving while black is offensive. Black and Latino men are always criminalized. Racism is never ending in the United States. A lot in my sonnet poem, I have a lot of repetition. I think I have like at least three lines that talk about Black and Latino men, this and that. Um, and in my sonnet poem, it's divided up into three lines. I just kind of wanted to make it known that it's specifically targeted towards Black and Latino men and how they're always criminalized, they're wrongly blamed, they're always the ones that are targeted over suspicion, racial profiling, they're the ones that get affected the most. In my infographic, talked about 1 in 3 Black males will be set in prison, and 1 in 6 Latino males will be set in prison. This is a fact right here, and it is so depressing to acknowledge that in real life, to acknowledge that in person, as you know, you can live casual life. You can live your life so casually, but at the end, I don't know. You just you see yourself, and like you're most likely to be set in prison than live a normal life as you should be. You know, going to college, joining the military, doing all those sorts of stuff. Um, and yeah, I just basically talked about how privileges are gone based on your race. It's true. A lot of this is uh, just super depressing. And it's an ongoing problem in the United States. The United States is the country that has the highest rate of mass incarceration in the entire world. There are countries such as Germany and the Netherlands that just provide mental institutions and mental help for those who are arrested, but the United States, they just disregard mental health, and they do it off of racial profiling. Um, in one of the chapters that we talked about in the class, chapter 11 talks about mass incarceration in the United States. One of the paragraphs, they talked about this term called driving while black, um, and that uh, is just that is a specific type of suspicion police officers have. It's like a stuck up, it's like a stick mentality, a permanent mentality that they have, that um, no matter how good of a person you are, like you are determined to get checked up on, arrested, go to prison based off your skin color. Um, Moving on from my infographic, I have my infographic right here. It's titled Mass Incarceration and Racism in the United States, and inside look at the statistics. I have at least 3 photos. This one photo I got from the internet. It says separate but equal drug sentencing laws. It just talks about there's 2 different drugs. We have this term called war on drugs. President Nixon actually coined the phrase, and what that caused, he doubled the population in prisons just by reminding everyone in the United States that drugs is a problem. But the way that he had that message, it was so clear that he was implying racism into that. We have this picture here. There's 2 drugs, powder and crack. Crack is in parentheses blacks and powder is parentheses whites. Um, and that in the black section, like in the section that has the crack and blacks in it, there's just so much, and they're all. Let's see if I can zoom in. They're all in prisons. They're all just screaming out, and it goes all the way down to 5 grams. But then for powder, it's like, I'm in a 500G of powder cocaine, you. And then they're all screaming 5Gs. That is so little compared to 500s. But they're the ones, like, they're the ones that have the harsher punishments. They're the ones that have the most repercussions, even though the numbers don't really match that. The United States has established a reputation as being the top country in the world to have the most individuals sentenced to prison. A lot of the issues are due to the fact that majority of the citizens in the United States have stuck with the bad mentality and connotations towards African Americans and Mexican Americans. It's really hard when you come from a country that has a history of racist remarks. You have the Jim Crow laws, you have the segregation laws, both of those laws and more that just disenabled any equal human rights to Black Americans. And it's just super hard to combat that, especially since you know a lot of people now they're always gonna have that old mentality, and it's just that's just how the United States is, whether we like it or not. We have this statistic. There's 3 races, Black and Hispanic and white. Black as the most being at 1K, while Hispanic and white kind of being lower, less than 500, but still, like, those 2 minority groups are at the largest when it comes to white, and this is by the incarceration by race and ethnicity. On a casual occasion, Black and Latino males can be seen throughout their life to be pulled aside by police officers and checked for suspicion. In a situation of a white and Black male committing the same crime, the Black male is most likely to get the harsher punishment than his white male. If a white and a Black male get caught doing the same crime, much like this picture, there's 500 grams of, cocaine, and but you know, with the crack, they have 5 grams. 1 5 gram will always be lower will always like overtake the 500, and it really depends on the race. And yeah, I mentioned this earlier. 1 in 3 Black males will be sent to prison throughout the general life of a Black male. A lot of the career opportunities are diminished. Black males are more likely to get sentenced in prisons than attend college with white males. Same with the Latino males. 1 in 6 Latino males will be sent in prison. In states listed through North Dakota, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts, Latino men are twice as likely to be sentenced to prisons compared to white males. With nearly 1.5 Americans in prison in 2012, the United States has the highest rate of incarceration in the world. It's incredibly important that the United States issue with mass incarceration has led to the tiny country to reach the top of the ranks with its population in prisons. The historian purposely made remarks that were targeted towards people of color has brought a negative reputation to the United States. Um, yeah, we have countries such as Germany and the Netherlands that are always, putting mental health first, but with this, it's like in the United States, they don't really care about mental, they just kinda do it off of protecting white peers or people that deserve it, but at the same time, they don't really realize that the people that they're putting in jails is the majority of it is people of color. I have a third media. It is my mass incarceration. Let me just put this out. This is technically like a flyer um thing. I just kind of got inspiration from um if we didn't have social media, just kind of like getting this out in like um out in the streets. We're doing this as a protest. I put events. This is all made up, um, but this is just an idea that you know um, that we could uh, that you know we could have protests to fix all of this. I just kind of did this without the idea of social media. The March Against Mass Incarceration, learn from students about the issues of how race and mass incarceration are ongoing problems in the US. I put everything all vague. I put an Instagram here, mustactnow.gov/now, hashtag we must act now. Put the address for Maricosta, but this is all fake. I just I got the inspiration that because this is a big thing, this deals with race at the same time, and there's a lot of protests with Black Lives Matter that deal with um, you know uh, switching the history, coming back from history, like switching it to a good light, basically erasing our horrible racist past that the United States has and depressingly created over the years. Um, and I just got inspiration from protest, but yeah, it was just these three. My multimedia, one's a sonnet poem, one's flyer here, and then one was a infographic. It was all about mass incarceration. Um, I got inspiration from my research project, and it's it's really depressing to know that a lot of African Americans and Mexican Americans are innocently being put into jails and prisons based off their skin color. And our history of the United States has taken it so far that the country itself is the highest rate out of all the countries in terms of mass incarceration. I hope you like it. Thank you.